In this presentation, we will be presenting a case of right-sided renal mass with an IVC thrombus and also an associated bland thrombus, which is extending up to bilateral popliteal veins. A 75-year-old male who is hypertensive presented to our OPD with complaints of bilateral pedal edema for 1 month duration, which was gradually progressing in severity. On examination, he had pitting pedal edema and also dilated veins on the anterior abdominal wall, suggestive of significant obstruction of venous return in the IVC. There was no palpable abdominal lump in this case. On evaluation, an ultrasound was done which showed a right side renal mass with an IVC thrombus. His hemoglobin was 11.7 grams per DL and his serum creatinine was on a higher side of 1.69 milligram per deciliter. He underwent a contrast enhanced MRI abdomen. Of course, in this MRI, you can clearly see hyperintense mass lesion in the right kidney. There are two masses separately seen, one on the medially and the other on the lateral cortex of the kidney, and also an IVC which was distended with a thrombus inside. Here you can see because of that medial mass, some amount of pelvic calyceal dilatation was also seen. These are the coronal images where you can see the medially located mass and also the laterally another mass is seen on the outer cortex. The left kidney is also having a simple cyst. And this is another MRI image where you can see the IVC thrombus, which is seen here. So the findings were there are two well-defined heterogeneous mass lesions of approximately 5 centimeters size in the right kidney. The tumor thrombus was actually extending into right renal vein and also into the intrahepatic part of IVC. However, the thrombus is proximal to the level of the hepatic veins. A large bland thrombus was also noted, which is extending from the infrarenal IVC till the bilateral popliteal veins. The common iliac veins, external iliac vein, common femoral and the superficial femoral vein, all the veins are completely filled with a bland thrombus. So now the issues in this case are the renal mass with an IVC thrombus, which is extending into intrahepatic region. Now, can we do something to decrease the level of the thrombus? That is one question. Of course, pre-op angioembolization can help in decreasing the level of thrombus because it decreases the vascularity of the thrombus. The other issue is the extensive bland thrombus, which is there till the popliteal veins. So the issue is, can we be able to remove it completely? Because this thrombus, we don't know, is it a chronic or an acute thrombus? It might be there because of the obstruction to the IVC because of the tumor thrombus above, and it is long-standing probably because the pedal edema is there already since 1 month. So we have involved the vascular surgeon also in this case. If at all there is a need to remove this thrombus, we can remove it. The other issue is the risk of severe intra-op bleeding. Generally, whenever there is a significant IVC obstruction, like in this case, as the patient is having dilated veins on the anterior abdominal wall, there will be extensive collateralization of the IVC, leading to significant amount of bleeding during surgery. So overall, for decreasing the amount of bleeding and also to decrease the level of the thrombus, a pre-op angioembolization always helps. So with that plan, we planned for this, and then subsequently a decision for right side radical nephrectomy with IVC thrombectomy after angioembolization was made after 24 hours of angioembolization. However, in the preoperative period, we have started the patient on a therapeutic heparin dose. Since his creatinine is higher, the low molecular weight heparin cannot be given, hence an unfractionated heparin was given. 17,000 units subcutaneous thrice a day was given. And we have noticed that after starting the heparin, his pedal edema slowly started improving. In-situ spirometry aggressively was started, and of course, adequate blood products are arranged. And during surgery, Makuchi incision was planned so that we will have a significant amount of exposure to the great vessels and the renal vein. Initially the suprarenal IVC was dissected and a control was taken above the level of the thrombus. And on table, we found that the thrombus was actually just below the liver. And then the left renal vein was also looped out, and the infrarenal IVC was also dissected, and control is taken. Then the entire kidney was, along with the mass, was mobilized, and the IVC was opened at the junction of the right renal vein with the IVC, and the entire specimen with the thrombus within the IVC was removed. The thrombus was actually not invading the IVC wall, but there was significant amount of adhesions along with the tumor thrombus and the IVC because it was a large thrombus there. So that was carefully removed. One interesting thing is that the tumor thrombus was actually extending into the opposite renal vein. So that also we have removed by looking through the IVC. As the infrarenal IVC, we have applied a cross clamp to prevent venous bleeding. So after initially when the tumor thrombus was removed from the left renal vein, there is no significant amount of venous return from the left kidney. Then on careful inspection, we found that there is another small tumor thrombus which is extending into the renal vein further. So when once that was removed, then free flow of venous return started from the left kidney. There we are convinced that the entire thrombus was removed. Now coming to whether to remove the bland thrombus or not. Since we have applied a cross clamp on the infrarenal IVC, there was no significant fall in intraoperative BP. And as already we know that there is extensive collateralization as the anterior abdominal wall veins were already dilated, we made a decision, since this is so extensive up to the bilateral popliteal veins, that we can safely ligate this IVC because the patient is not having any hemodynamic compromise. Hence, as shown in this figure, this is a silk suture which we have ligated the IVC here, and then you can see the repaired IVC with the Prolene, which was done subsequently. Of course, the right adrenal gland was also removed in this case along with the kidney. So this is the operative specimen. You can see this yellowish mass which is there in the interpolar region, looking like a clear cell RCC, and then another fleshy mass is seen within the pelvic LC system. You can see it is kept separately, and then there is no perinephric extension of the mass. Of course, the biopsy is awaited, and this is the tumor thrombus, and this is some amount of bland thrombus which also came out when we are removing the tumor thrombus. Post-operative course, it is very important to continue anticoagulation as well. So we continued anticoagulation as IVC was repaired. However, the dose was now, since there is no thrombus, we reduced it to 6,000 units subcutaneous thrice a day. And what we found in this case was post-operatively the patient had pedal edema since the IVC was ligated, but which slowly improved in 2 to 3 days. As the patient was started on mobilization, of course, compressive elastic stockings were also been given to the patient's intra-op and also in the post-operative period. He had mild post-op atelectasis, which improved with aggressive chest physiotherapy, and his PUC was removed on day 2, whereas the drain was removed on post-op day 3. And he was subsequently discharged on oral tablet rivaroxaban on post-operative day. He was discharged. So the learning points in this case are that always assess the level and the severity of IVC obstruction whenever you are dealing cases of renal mass with IVC thrombus, because your surgical plan basically depends on that. And perioperative anticoagulation is always helpful as it prevents the chance of post-operative thrombus formation and pulmonary thromboembolism. Of course, your aim should be complete removal of the tumor thrombus. If there is any wall invasion, obviously you have to resect that part of the IVC wall along with the thrombus. And yes, IVC ligation, like we did in this case, is a valuable option, particularly in cases where there is a significant amount of IVC obstruction leading to extensive collateralization. And also, if the thrombus is extensive, if the bland thrombus is extensive, then this is a very good option. Thank you.